I'm Emma, and you're watching My Birthway. This is a video series that I started before I even got pregnant in the first place. And I'm giving you updates every week about my experiences. And this is the 37 weeks pregnant update. And this is the first time in a video that I have been sideways. The reason is because my legs are swelling so bad. It is horrible. And so it's a lot easier for me to lay sideways or lay down. I've noticed that just sitting or putting my feet up, right out in front of me doesn't really seem to make a damn bit of difference. And so right now, that's not making a difference either. They just continue to get huge all day. And then they're humongous when I go to bed, and then when I wake up, they're not humongous at all. So either laying down and then somewhat during the day, walking and standing is helpful because of, I think, just blood flow and movement and that kind of thing. But if I have to sit down to do stuff, which I kind of need to because I have to rest, then they get huge, especially one of my legs. So in addition to that, I've noticed now at 37 weeks that if I sleep on the sheets or I sit on anything textured, even a little bit, I come off of that texture looking like I have scales or stripes, like the way sometimes if you sleep on a sheet and it's wrinkly and your face is wrinkly when you wake up in the morning sometimes, It's like that, but it's all over my body. Anything that I touch stays pushed in. And that's called pitting edema, which can sometimes be a bad thing. And I was nervous about it, especially because of the intense swelling I've had. And we double looked it up and double talked to the midwives, and spent a really good time with the midwives this past week, sharing all of my fears and worries, which was me being like, oh my God, piling on the fear and worry about potential problems, related to just swelling and not being ready with the house for the baby and all that. So that was a great experience. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And they said that, once again, it sucks, it's terrible, but it's not anything to be concerned about. I have the edema worse than an average pregnant lady does, and I guess that's just my pregnancy thing. I feel like my carpal tunnel is maybe getting a little better, weirdly, but my feet aren't swelling anymore, really, not much. It's my ankles and my calves, and now, especially my left leg, it's starting to climb up my leg. And I look like I'm made out of Play-Doh or something like that, which is frightening at first, and then when you wake up in the morning, you look normal again. But there's also a lot of pain involved, not so much when I move, but if I get bumped or squeezed, it hurts, because of all the, extra blood, water pooling in that region. And also, too, this is the side my baby's on, and so I think that that's part of it. One of my good friends had one huge leg during both of her pregnancies, kind of like I'm becoming to have, or I'm starting to get. And her doctor said that it could be likely that it's because the baby is on that side also, too, affecting flow and pressure and stuff. So that's interesting facts, factoids and stuff. But there isn't a need to worry, because the only problem with swelling, the only symptom, or the only way that swelling is a symptom of a problem, is if it is preeclampsia or eclampsia or toxemia. If you've heard of that, that's a big problem, and it can kill women, it can hurt women, it can hurt babies. But to have that, you have to have protein in your urine. At a certain point, especially this far along, you would have a shooting pain and horrible nausea and inability to stop puking. You would have a terrible headache that you couldn't get rid of. You would have high blood pressure. I have none of these things. It's just swelling, and it sucks. And also, too, it's, because I don't have the swelling when I wake up in the morning, that's kind of an extra sign that it's just swelling. You know what I mean? It's not just symptom of, something else. It's swelling on its own, which is normal, but I just have it to an extreme degree, and it's not been fun. Because of the pain, not even the swelling, it's the pain associated with it, and the inability, I can't squat down anymore to do things because my legs are so swollen. And even if I could, the pain hurts, so it's not the most fun time right now. let's see, I'm looking at my list for what I wrote down this week to speak about. I've also noticed too that, like I said, when I wake up in the morning, my legs are normal sized again. They're normal sized, but to me they look scrawny and weird, and I don't think it's just because they're not swollen in the morning. I think it's because my muscles look gone. Like, I don't have unswollen normal legs. I have like unswollen scrawny legs. Like, somehow my muscles have atrophied, and I know that's me freaking out, but it just looks weird to me. And I'm sure my muscles are less developed because I've been doing less. I'm still active, I'm still moving around, but it's different. And so that's kind of weird to see, like, a complete change in myself. It's going to be really nice to stop being swollen and see what's actually happened to my body during this process. And then also too, this past week, Jason got sick and was out for like 4 days, like couldn't function, feeling very bad. He was sick, like stomach-wise. I might have been sick one night, but it went away. It wasn't a big deal. But he felt really bad, and he never gets sick, and he's not a complainer, so it was really hard. And I had to do all the animal chores and stuff. And luckily I was able to do it, but it was tough. It was like, okay, just suck it up and do it, get the momentum and do it slow. And I was able to do it. But I think because of that, and just because of how close we're getting, this week has been really stressful, and really hard, like the hardest week of all, because of the swelling and the worry about that. But I don't even think I'm not really even worried about it, after talking, at the appointment and stuff. I think it just accrued the worry, any of you that have ever had a kid, or even any of you that have ever gotten married, because I can compare it to that too, is like, this big event is coming up, this big important thing, and you don't want it to screw up. You have all this stuff going, you're freaking out. Is everything going to work? Are you going to be done in time? And I think we're both emotionally ready for the baby, and I feel physically ready to be in labor. Like, I'm not scared of that. But it's hard to feel physically ready in the moment when you're super stressed about the house not being ready for the kid, and the nursery, and our bedroom, and everything. It's like the bedroom and the office have collided into two universes, and it's just like a war zone in both rooms, and it's terrible. And the baby room isn't set up, which it matters less because the kid won't sleep in there at first, but still, it's a lot of these things, and it's just, I spent a lot of time this week feeling hopeless as far as ever getting this stuff done. But we have family coming in a few days. Jason's mom and his mom's boyfriend, and they're going to really help out. They're really helpful people. It's going to be great. She's going to cook a lot of food for us for after the baby. She's an amazing cleaning person, organizer, motivator, really good supportive person. And then her boyfriend likes to do physical stuff outside, like, hey, I want to do this, I want to fix this, mow this, install this, whatever, lift this with you. So I'm really excited about that, and I think that's really going to help, and I'm looking forward to that. And I kind of just have to focus on that because I can't change anything right now. We're still kind of recuperating from Jason being sick. I just have to believe that it's going to work. But when I had the appointment and the meeting with the midwife, or the midwives, the midwife said, you do need to get this under control, the worry that you have and the upsetness that you have about not being ready, because it's going to get more insane after the baby's born than it is now. So you need to get your ducks in a row, whatever that means to you. If it's just psychologically, if it's the house, you need to do it. Whatever you need to do it, then do it. And I liked that advice because it wasn't like, oh, it'll be okay, like a lot of people say when I'm like, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm not ready for the baby to be born because we're not ready with the house. People are like, oh, that's okay, the baby doesn't care where it sleeps. And I'm just like, okay, I know that, but shut up. Like, I know that it doesn't care where it sleeps, but it matters to me, and it's going to affect my ability to feel relaxed and ready to do it, because it already is. Like, it's not like I can just shut down and be like, oh, it doesn't matter that there's literally no space to walk around our bed because of all the other office stuff mixed in. That does matter to me, and I can't control that it matters to me. And if for some reason I went into labor now, at 37 weeks, I can deliver at the birth center because everything is all systems go. The baby is considered term, just early term, not full term, but early term. Full term starts at 39 weeks, 39 to 41. So anyway, it's just hard to hear people be like, oh, blah, 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 it's fine. You know, that's not the advice I need to hear. The advice I need to hear is, you can do it. You'll get it done. Don't worry. Not the don't worry about doing it advice. That is not what I need to hear. So, anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much what's been happening this week. Also, at our meeting that we had for our 36 weeks, because that was a while ago, you know, or since last video, you can hear Kuna barking outside, since last video, but before this video, we went over our birth plan, which was really exciting with the midwives. We wrote a birth plan for the birth center, and then in case of a hospital transfer, in which case it would be probably an emergency, I wrote a birth plan for that. For in case of C-section, in case of just needing to be monitored at the hospital, which is very low likelihood, but it's still possible. So I would just like to re-stress how important it is to write a birth plan and to include all possibilities. I mean, it was really tough for me to write the section about in case of emergency and in case of a C-section, because that's not what I envisioned for myself, and that's really hard to cope with for someone who isn't planning that, because it's scary and it's a surgery, and you're worried about your baby and all that kind of stuff, and so it was really emotionally tough for me to cope with, and I spent some time crying trying to write it, and it was hard. But you need to do that. You need to write that kind of thing. And as a doula, I can especially say that because you communicate with all folks involved, medical care providers, emotional support folks in your life, about what you want, because you can tell them, and it's hard to remember sometimes in the moment, and it's nicer to have it written down, and you want to protect yourself and have a really good template for the people that you care about to help protect you and stand up for you and speak for you, or remind you of what you need to say as a doula. Doulas don't speak for women, but they remind the woman and her partner what they had wanted to say in the first place. So so we did our birth plan review, and I think next episode I'm going to talk more about it, what was in the birth plan, and the details behind that. But hopefully next week when I talk to you, after we have our visitors that are going to help clean, things are going to be feeling more under control, because right now I feel like I'm tumbling down a dark hole of never going to get it done and slight stress. I mean, not slight, super stress, and slight, almost like depression, because I can't get past it. And I don't think it's hormonal, it's just the fact that we can't get it done. So hopefully when I talk to you next week, that'll be better. And I doubt that my leg will be less swollen next week. I think I'm just going to have to cope with that until the baby's born. So we'll see, though. Wouldn't that be lucky if I was if it was less swollen? But as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Emma. You're watching My Birth Way, and this is the 37 weeks pregnant update. And I will see you next week. I'll probably be on the same spot on the sofa with my 38 weeks update. All right, bye.